Holy camole, one of the shopping centers we toured went up in flames. Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Side Hustle Chronicles, where I'm documenting me and my best friend's journey to opening an event venue. Now, it's been a while since my last update, and so much has happened. So let's just hop right in. First off, remember during my tour video where we looked at these two-story units? These are two different units in the same shopping center. We were seriously considering these, but we got scared away by the DJ blaring music in the parking lot and a homeless man camping out in front of one of the units. Well, one night around midnight, there was a huge fire in this same complex. I was in the area and turned on my camera to capture this footage. This is the back of the complex. These were some serious flames. Firemen were breaking down the doors of every unit in that shopping center. Like, I think they wanted to let air in. I bet there was some serious smoke flowing through all those spaces. It took about 30 minutes or more for them to put the fire out. This is so tragic. Now, I heard the next day that the fire started at the cleaners. Now, look at this huge gap in the shopping center. These units were completely demolished. There was a church next door to the cleaners that is gone, vanished. Also, there was a brand new gym that barely opened their doors a couple of months prior that is completely falling apart. But this dentist office, within a week, he was up and running in a new location, like true hustler, soldier over there. And the units we were considering at the end, now they were rented and in the process of being renovated, but they got condemned. This entire shopping center is a complete loss and is just sitting there now like this, fenced off. Wow, this could have been us. Shout out to all of those small businesses who lost their businesses that night. Sending nothing but positive vibes to all of you. Good luck. Wow. I just had to tell you that crazy story. So let's rewind a little bit so we can pick up where I left off in my last video. So we toured this amazing place that's attached to a courtyard, which we love. So our next steps were to go to building and safety to investigate what they would require us to add. Because remember, for the old Payless space, they said we had to add 2 toilets, a urinal, 2 hand washing sinks, 2 water fountains, a mop sink, and a partridge in a pear tree. Child, they wanted us to add everything in that little space. But this new space already has 2 restrooms and a kitchenette. However, there isn't a urinal, so we're suspecting that we're going to have to add one. And sure enough, we were right. In order to comply with plumbing occupancy rules, which are not the same as building occupancy, by the way, plumbing occupancy is for the amount of people each plumbing fixture, aka sinks and toilets, for example, can handle. So we were told that we would need to add a 1 toilet, 1 urinal, 1 hand sink, 1 mop sink, and we still need 2 of those stupid water fountains. How many times have you gone to a venue for a quinceañera or a baby shower or whatever and drank out of a water fountain? Yeah, never teen 65. Talk about an old rule that no longer applies. Oh, and we also found out that we have to hire an architect to draw our plans. Now, sometimes they'll allow the contractor to draw them, but not in our case, of course. We have to pay for an architect. How much does that cost? Anyway, we called up the same contractor who gave us a bid for the Payless shoe store to get his opinions on where we should add another restroom, take down all these walls, also add everything else on the county's list. Plus, we need them to build a space for storage for things like tables, chairs, decorations, and other items we want to sell in packages to our clients. So we made arrangements to meet at the space with the contractor, and we went back and forth on where to add the restroom. In order to comply with ADA standards, which stands for Americans with Disabilities Act, the restroom has to be at least 7 feet wide and 7 feet long. Plus, there's rules and regulations on how far the sink can be from the toilet, and the toilet can be from the wall, and the wall can be from the sink, and the swing of the door. There's a ton of rules involved in building this bathroom. It's not about just putting up some walls, a toilet, and a sink. Anyway, if we add it in the ballroom area, it will reduce our overall maximum capacity. Now, if we put it in the kitchenette, which is really the only other place to put it, it would seriously restrict the amount of space caterers would have to stage food and prep it for serving. Plus, hearing a toilet flush in the kitchen is kind of gross, but it was still an option we considered because we also had to think about the amount of money it would take to dig in the ground to tap into the water line. See, this is all stuff we never think about. This is stuff the gurus don't tell you. So we knew there was one close by in the kitchen area. However, it was a mystery as to where the water lines in the ballroom were located. We only had some educated guesses floating around to go by, but searching for the lines could cost a lot of money. Long story short, two contractors came by that day, each with their own opinions on where the restroom and storage space should go. Plus, we had to talk about all the other renovations we wanted. The floors were hideous and needed to go. These ceilings are called drop ceilings. We want to bust those out to give an open ceiling effect so they will be higher and feel more grand and be spectacular. So one of the contractors popped out a ceiling panel and climbed up a ladder to check out what was going on up there. It was a wiry mess. Those panels were being used to hide the ugly insulation, plus the aluminum foil looking air conditioning pipes, and tons of wires. In other words, our bill is racking up over here. We also asked one of our contractors about the glass on the outside of the building at the very top that looks like windows. When we're inside the building, they're hidden above the drop ceilings, right? So one of the contractors, while looking above the ceiling tile, told us they were fake windows, like walls with glass on them, I guess. So that was a bust. At the end of the day, the contractors needed to go and crunch the numbers on what it would take to add the restroom, storage space, replace the floors, paint, demo the walls, and all of the electrical and piping that would be needed to fall within the county's codes. Now, in the meantime, we needed to find an architect. So we went on the search and set up meetings with a couple of them. At the same time, we were on a mission to research the best flooring options for a space that would have a lot of foot traffic, but at the same time, the floors needed to be pretty, easy to clean, and affordable. Kind of a big ask. But after all is said and done, this business is really based on floors, ceilings, and walls. Like, it doesn't matter how beautiful you dress up the tables if the building looks like a haunted classroom from a horror movie. This really feels like our place, though. But we have to do our due diligence and get the quotes from the contractors, go floor shopping, find an architect, and get a quote. Talk to the realtor to ask what is needed to move in, ask questions about the owners and landlords, and learn if they might be willing to contribute towards the improvements. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'll wrap it up, but I have a few months worth of craziness and frustrating stories to share with you in the upcoming videos. So be sure to stay tuned and subscribe if you want to follow along. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.